Welcome to The Explainer. You know, it's funny how sometimes the biggest, most profound truths are hiding in the simplest moments. Today, we're going to dive into one conversation between two old friends meeting up after a whole decade apart. Now, on the surface, it's just them catching up. But if we look a little closer, it tells us something really powerful about how we see ourselves and maybe more importantly, how we see each other.
So it all kicks off with this really simple, super relatable line from a character named Lena. This question: it's been what, almost a decade? It's not just about marking time, right? It's really setting the stage for these two people who lived completely separate lives to try and find their way back to one another.
And this first part of their meeting, it's all about bridging that massive 10-year gap. It's this really delicate dance of trying to restart a connection that's been on pause, of figuring out who they even are to each other now. Okay, so let's meet our two people. We've got Lena. She's a novelist who builds these incredible worlds of political fiction. And then there's Mark, a lawyer fighting for minority groups in the real world. And right away, their jobs set up this core tension, you know? One world is built entirely on imagination, and the other is built on cold, hard facts.
10 years. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. That is more than enough time to become completely different people. So their conversation has to start here. They have to acknowledge that time has passed and that they've been on totally separate journeys before they can go anywhere else.
So this is where we get to see how their jobs haven't just been jobs, they've literally shaped their entire worldviews. This isn't just a friendly catch-up anymore. It's a meeting of two fundamentally different perspectives. And that is where things start to get really, really interesting. And just look at how deep this divide goes. Lena, the novelist, she lives in this world of internal conflict, of solitary struggle, where her goal is to explore truth. But Mark, the lawyer, his world is the courtroom. It's an external battle all about concrete evidence, where the goal isn't to explore truth, it's to prove it. They're both after the exact same thing, but they are coming at it from opposite ends of the universe. So, pretty early on, Lena shows this amazing empathy. She describes Mark's work as what must feel like a solitary fight. She gets that sense of isolation that can come from fighting a really tough battle, even though his is happening out in the public sphere of a courtroom. And then, get this, Lena describes her own character's journey using that exact same phrase, a solitary struggle. And that is so not a coincidence. It's the first real clue that even though they live in different worlds, they share this deep, common understanding of what it feels like to fight a battle all alone. So this shared idea of a solitary struggle, it's like the key that unlocks the whole conversation. It opens the door to something much, much deeper. They kind of stumble upon the philosophical heart of their whole talk, an idea that connects their two worlds in a way neither of them saw coming. Lena introduces this absolutely fascinating idea. What if our lives aren't actually defined by the big, loud memories that we always think about? What if, instead, the most important truths about who we are hidden in these single, quiet moments, just one brief glimpse that somehow reveals everything? And she even gives this idea a name, the absurd simplification. It's this danger of taking one glimpse, one action, one piece of data, and using it to define an entire complex human being. And that idea is not only fascinating, but, as she says, it's also kind of terrifying. And boom, this idea becomes the bridge between them. Mark sees it instantly in his work, where his clients get reduced down to a single alleged crime in the eyes of a jury. And at the exact same time, Lena's exploring this very theme through her character's internal journey. Their two separate worlds has just collided on this powerful shared theme. And this raises a huge question that goes way beyond their little coffee shop conversation. It forces us to ask ourselves, how do we judge other people? You know, whether it's in a courtroom or scrolling through social media or just in our everyday lives. Are we ever guilty of this absurd simplification? So, what's so cool is that this shared understanding does way more than just make for an interesting chat. It actually becomes the foundation they use to completely rebuild their friendship. You can actually see their reconnection happen in these clear steps. They don't just jump back in. First, they have to acknowledge the past. Then, they ground themselves by sharing their struggles in the present. And it's only from there that they find that common ground, which lets them build something totally new for their future. A friendship that isn't just about who they were, but about who they are right now. So by the end of this one meeting, Their friendship is no longer just built on nostalgia, on, hey, remember when? It's built on a brand new, shared perspective that they forged together. In that moment, they walked in on separate paths and they walked out with a shared vision. So the thing to really take away from all this is how a simple conversation can do so much more than just pass the time. It can totally redefine a relationship and give you a whole new way of seeing the world. Their story is a great reminder to look deeper than just the surface glimpse, and it leaves us with this final thought to chew on. When's the last time a conversation truly gave you a new vision?